Mama, no mai tau te mai ki te record keepers. Today is the 26th of August 2022. We are gathered together as a rōpū at Whakamoenga Point. We're about to go for a walk with Perry Fletcher to have a look at some more things down here.
No, but our purpose today is to walk over toward the cave, and we even hope to take in a view of the lake being high of the Ryan's carving.
I don't know if there's kind of a different opinion, but I guess my thoughts are that always more information, you know, a map showing these are where...
Well, the maps, your dock archaeologist took my map for all this road before it was tar sealed, bypassed me, went to dock office in Turangi at the time, and then sent away information. It was just a scanty.
Council work in with Ministry of Education for providing funding for different information that can be used for school groups. It all seems to me like focusing where the information is being used by. Is it going to be used by, is it going to be used for simply science? And science is always hard to get funding for.
There's no doggy leash.
Yes, I think Jeffrey's got the dog lead.
Luke.
He's like, no, it's not having anything with that.
Nah, he's not going to go on the lead. He gets jealous of me, basically. He goes, hey, that's my there's a big Kiwi down on the track a couple of months ago.
No, I wasn't looking at it.
No.
Probably something that, you know, from our forest and dirt background, we'll be looking at the, okay, well, what's happening with dogs on the tracks. There's no sheeping in the track, and obviously dogs want to get rid of the sheepy creek.
This is Rangatira blocks. What they've got to do with TeWhare. It was about 50 acres was cut out. It was payment for the survey that did over the other side of the lake, around the TeWhare block. So Rob Peter to pay Paul put 50 acres here, and that's when Ryan came and had an interest with his boats and taking tourists and royalty from the Russian royalty. He brought them, took a painting of the cave, and Russian royalty, there's a photo of them here about 1908 at the cave here.
Really?
All the way from Russia. This is long before the revolution, long before the revolution.
They're looking for a place to hide out.
No, they weren't. They were aspiring to empire. This is peace, love, control. All the royal families related to each other, Greece, England, Russia, the whole lot. So there was no hiding out. This was another area here. But here, the Patlagawa and one Maori family secured this in 1924, which made it exempt from giving any right of way for fishing in that in 1926. And this was about the only property around the lake that was excluded a right of way for fishermen. So what I had to work on, and I was here before there was any road here, or any road that existed or connecting, and what happened here and here with the later thing with this subdivision is they put this boat shed and put the house up here, and for here, where you got modern land being in use, sometimes they like early sawmills often used old tracks and that and led up to bush edges by earlier native settlements. We had water and resources, and this here, so coincidentally, with the boat here, over here, which has all been cleared and done away with, there was an old Maori camp, and had stones and many pieces of obsidian and that, all around this area. It's all been wiped out now. So that shows this has been a later use and impacted on older use. Well, when it came to the my fight, well not fight, but appeal between Te Whare Trust Board, the lake, Mike Keys and the different rangers, I took one of the greens, Paul Dale, I think it was, and from his office up here, for my concerns here about the prospect of a subdivision impacting all the historic sites, and we stopped at the gate up there and he wouldn't come with me. The dock person, oh no, my jurisdiction stops here. Why did he get me out of dock office all the way here? Just tell me he couldn't go. I had this thing with district planners as well. And so with that, the dock used their lake person, and he wanted to step a foot out of the lake. He just gave his opinion where the lake water doesn't protect any sites or anything. So everyone had a say, and their collective say was to do nothing or pass it on to someone else. So I secured a couple of acres from the Butler Gower subdivision, and of which a good part now is in the council reserve. The power site's still included in the hill in the subdivision just outside the division.
So it's no longer a dock reserve, it's a council reserve, eh?
It's a council reserve, but they are limited. In other words, we've got the reserve, that's it. And so where we're going is how should we be tailored? Is there tracks? Should the sites be assessed? And so this is where Jeffrey's going to advise on our walk from here. But on their way, we'll have a look to the...
What are you saying? What are you putting out for, sir?
your figure regarding track access, possible signage, recognition of the things in the reserves, eradication of the intrusive
Jasmine.
Yes, and I'll just point out on the way a couple of things of historic interest, whether you want to know or not, including Ryan's original carving site.
Yes. Okay. Can you say a little bit about the pohutakawa behind you?
Yes. Pohutakawa, at one time, are you taping me?
Yes. Is that okay?
Well, too bad if it isn't.
Okay.
The Pohutakawa one time came here and was particularly dominant up to Kaipara Bay, Pohutakawa. The only other place around the lake is the island, Motutaiko Island.
But these have been put here by humans.
These were, like Karaka, they were brought in by Maori and planted by Maori. The young constabulary found them as the main source of wood, a supply outside of Pepe.
Wow.
And so they enthusiastically cut many pohutakawa round lake shores up to Kaipara Bay. One tree at Kaipara Bay is still standing on pohutakawa. I found a board and adds board on one of the roots there, which gives an earlier antiquity for that. So the right of way at the subdividers say they didn't have to concede a metre for the fishermen on access, and so we got that all part in 2 metres. And where they were going to put houses in a couple of places, including outside the cave entrance, I got that excluded. That sort of thing doesn't get to invite too many Christmas parties, the subdividers have. But
so where Okuta Pa site is,
it's just
the
outside.
fortification, the horseshoe-shaped map of the fort is still being kept away from developers.
That's the developers have got houses, particularly to the south side, which probably encroached a couple of hut sites and a few features there. Then you've got Deep Gully, and but it's because it was a recorded site, a Youth Historic Places Trust Act. It was that got that. Nowadays, any developer can go and develop anything, and they might get an archaeologist scratch around and put a report out. And most sites now in New Zealand have appealed for, I think between 2014 and 2020, about 700 sites that were referred for developers and development and modification. And of the 700 sites, the Historic Places Trust gave the go-ahead for about 90% or more of them, over 90% to go, most being Maori sites. Some Maori sites might be no more than Salminids, but the fact is that disproportionately the Historic Places Trust gave a tick-off for nearly all of them, instead of the other way round, in my thinking under their Act and Charter. So it's, yes, the developers can almost get anything done over any site in the country as long as they do the paperwork and apply for the authorities. Hence my not enough information when the whole Maori tribe can be appealing and protesting for their cultural places. What was your question for Hurukawa? Yes, the recent years, particularly with the kowhai trees, the opossums made great inroads and damage, munching around the lake edges. So
Thank you.
Track to go?
Yep, thank you.
So, I mean, has that been
He was going to put a house up top, and I stopped that as part of this reinstating Whaitaway. This originally had two entrances, other at the end. Since I recorded this thing slipped and completely block it. So unless you know, you just see the cave as it is. One time it had much material in the way of faded, rotted garments and wood and that, and a lot of shell, particularly around the corner. But the thing here is we're going to a big cave, but this one had, one time at the end here, rock art at the end, which is missing from the big cave. And this is another thing, why was rock art or kukawai done on smaller areas, and bigger areas, obviously well used, have nothing. So that's part of the pattern I'm doing. I find one of so many shelters or caves have kukawai, and then the lower ratio might have a carving, and so I work out all the ratios. But with this, you had the cave, the kukawai flake off, and then campers even used the stones with kukawai for their campfires, so we lost that. But here I've got a sketch of what was at the back here, and paper clips. The paper clips does help in holding it. And this in bright red was what was left as it was flaking off. That was at the end here. So those sections there were bright red kukawai, and a bit similar to the ones at Kupua Point.
Te kopua.
Right yes. At the end. And so now you'd be lucky to see in here just a trace of kukawai that's left. And this is the only trace you've got now. A little bit of red here and a dot here. So everything else is flaked over. And you see with wood and that still used and modified. So that dot here and that piece here is this piece here. So you can make that connection here and here. That's all that's left of what had fallen away before. So this part of the shelter, they've purposefully done the kukawai, and to the left side of you was where it's all filled in, was the side entrance.
Oh wow.
It's all collapsed in with the thing.
So you could come in from the top, could you?
No, coming straight from the side.
Oh,
level.
okay. Oh, yeah.
Two openings.
Did it go down a bit?
And behind us here was a lot of remains of shell and wooden material, and that from an early
Be
period.
careful with the flash, the spiders will fall on you.
No, they're no spiders, only cave wetters.
That's them.
Cave wetters fall on your neck if you sneeze.
Oh, goodness, there are some big ones.
Yes, there are. Don't come here. Don't come here.
Often a flash will set
Yeah.
them going too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's a winner.
Nail to hang something out there.
Oh, there's heat.
So you see, even when they're deteriorating, by taking a measure, I've got a photo, and then you can match that little bit here and that here, it's all that's left.
Is this meant to be, is this just doing art for art's sake, or is it meant to be a natural
Well,
on the ground as well. It's often, it looks like it's fritting away.
to know what they deliberately use this precious commodity for.
As in it can't be, there's not something they
It's
can...
part of a design of their own interpretation. Some were very symbolic, but that's all we got left there. But most archaeologists and that don't even look at walls and that. I had known books,
Almost like a marquee.
he recorded hundreds of
Like, this is where you
sites,
cook.
walking from Reagan
kitchen.
down toward Taranaki,
Something like that, maybe.
600 sites. And when he this was he said, oh, if I only looked at their walls and that, and all the rock caves and shelters, they were too busy looking at the ground for evidence of shell or occupation. And so there's even the trained archaeologists and that they miss and don't record so much at all.
Walls are going to be there the longest, the roof is going to fall in, and the floor's going to be covered. The wall's going to be the most durable.
One thing I want to record it. They saw it been here hundreds of years. It's why bother? 6 months later, a whole lot of collapsed and swept aside.
Can you send me copies of those, please?
This is your copy.
Thank you.
I think I've done 2 copies.
Okay.
One for Whaitaima.
Thank you.
But anyway, I will send you off that. I was trying to look at my colour photo, but it might have been a file attachment.
Okay.
So this is the sort of thing I do. But you had so many campers and that come in here and use and scrape and modify and burn. I found in the forestry there'd be Maori, very old Maori wood, and the bushmen would come in and use them all for firewood.
So presumably there would have been fires, they would have had fires in here, you know, historically over time.
Well, archaeologically speaking, you could still probably find layering of the various fires and places, and but the impacts often. And we've had a lot of fossicking all through the areas, particularly in the 1950s.
Oh, yeah.
People went on anyone's land with a spade and shovel, got anything from Maori artifacts to bottles or anything else they could find.
Is there a risk of highlighting the area? Saying, you know, this is a historic place.
So here we are to this.
They're going to carry us across.
Yeah, who's got waterproof shoes on?
Oh, my gumboots are home. But here's the carving behind you.
And that's Tia. And this is one of the carvings there.
The cloak.
Yes.
Good place for it.
Yes.
But I've got the old original black and white photo. In 1924, I think it was Corey Ramaka put his signature on down here too. And all that in the original one that Thomas Ryan did. And our expert carver just saw it as all skull and crossbones. Couldn't even read the original classic face pattern. So we got the comparison of both. But we confirmed this was Ryan's one because we got before and after photos that went in the local newspaper.
Yeah, it used to look like a skull and crossbones.
Gate fences, they don't want to be involved with the world that's not personally benefiting for themselves.
Yeah. And saying that the greenskeeper, what's his name? Anyway, the guys they do pay for at least one guy who does quite a lot of trapping and does a lot of control in the areas because they've got a reasonable budget for full time.
But if this is council land,
But this is council land.
Yeah.
Then there may be potential for a bit of crossover, given that is something coming out of their property onto council land.
And also they're not
more primitive in the setting they're in, so they're not in a jungle type setting. So they're not dealing with vines and they're not dealing with species that take advantage of other trees to grow up.
Yes.
So an Australian tree may be more evolved to deal with that by shedding their bark, whereas a New Zealand native less so. So kauri trees, for example, shed their bark and can shed the saprophytes, whereas Australian trees good at that as well. A lot of the natives in the area aren't going to do the same.
Are things too close to sites that should be cleared, or should things be
That's good. Yes.
They're like tree trunks of jasmine.
I would go that way.
Okay.
Go, yep.
So you're going to way over through here, maybe?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, there are tracks.
Or straight through, maybe? Well, this one seems right. Oh, here we are.
I didn't try to get into the lower layers, even though I don't know. But what he's talking about reminds me exactly, because it's a real issue for companies to how...
It's keeping me out of just sitting home watching TV all day.
I can't imagine you too much of that.
No.
It just like comes off on your fingers when you touch it. Like you this spray paint, someone's had a go. I think there's areas where it's got like a sort of a crust, like where it's a bit harder, like a bit firmer, but then there's other areas behind where it's just like just turns to powder when you touch it. There seems to be quite a thing with ignimbritis, so we have like a hard surface and then quite soft behind.
So you have to take the hard surface off?
Oh,
Are you saying this is ignimbrite?
Yeah, this would be
Wow,
right.
wow.
But it's quite a soft one.
They're using something which is
So
really
you can
when
you have like this kind of hard layer, like sort of a crust, and then behind it, it's like quite like sandy, like it comes off when you touch it. Whereas here it's like reasonably, it's all pretty good, pretty solid. But you get this sort of like weathered surface, and then just sandy, crumbly stuff behind.
well, maybe.
You have to be super careful. I think sometimes they
wartime happened the same. No, it was quite a deliberate, different thing that they identify there. Your Whakamoenga carvings.
I just thought if there's a good example to even, to execute something like that would be something that complexes the dynamics that we have.
Point out localised type of style like that near TeWhare. Very localised style there.
okay.
Quite a few carvings become more connected.
It's really interesting to go there when you're next
I was supposed to go back to them.
Today, I hope you've learnt something. I've always learned something going on walks with Perry. So until such time, Aotearoa ka tūtaki mai anō tātou.
Kia ora. Do you have anything to say?
Yes, we're actually on time for a change. No, but that's good. I got to share something with David. So I got my book of words here without even having to refer to them, which is always good for another day. Yes, so thank you. I haven't even got my first breath of wind. I feel like running home.
Yeah, you can run behind them.
If I hadn't got an appointment coming up.
Drag them.
Yes.
Thank you both for coming along with us today, and I hope we go on more little adventures. Kia ora korua.